I don't want, I'm not gonna share my screen, but what I am gonna do. Does somebody want me, I will do one, if somebody really wants me to do one, otherwise.
What's wrong? You did a problem for me and got it wrong.
Wait, do you not think I got a C in algebra?
Actually, you're teaching this.
Yeah, but
You
probably misguided me into something.
What year did you switch from English to math?
I never did switch. I never taught.
But you majored in English?
I had to, because I didn't offer. What do I have to do here?
It's 21.
I'm sharing my screen right now. Do I want to share my screen? No. I just want to record.
I don't think Emily, she never did English.
What are we at, Frankie?
One per year.
Wait, do I have to do one? All right, ladies and gentlemen, just because Frankie wants to know. Was this the one I did wrong?
Yeah.
So I can redeem myself? Can't you just figure out what I did wrong on your own?
No. Give me a chance.
X minus 7 into x squared minus 10x plus 27. Did I write the problem down right? All right, so Frankie, what times x gives you x squared? That's an x, right? That's your dividing part. I multiply x times both of those, I get x squared minus 7x. I then have to subtract, which means I change them to their opposites. This goes away. I'm left with a minus 3x. I bring down my plus 27. What times x gives me minus 3x? A minus 3, which gives me minus 3x. Negative times negative should be positive 27. I subtracted. What did I do? Did I do it wrong?
You got wrong.
21. Positive.
Oh, it's a positive 21. Wait.
Yeah. 7 times.
Oh, 21. Was that what I did wrong the first time, Frankie? Or no?
No.
So you get positive 6 left over.
Wait. Frankie was.
I'm sorry. I saw all those 27s and I was thinking 9 times 3 is a multiple. I don't know what I'm talking about. That's what a perfect lead in today's calculator exercise. Blah. Huh? Huh? Frankie keeps interrupting, Rach. I can't hear you.
I thought you were talking to me, sorry.
Five.
How do you do number 3?
One more, number 3, because I need to get one right just for my own personal satisfaction here. Max, how many did you get right?
It's okay, Max.
You can round to the nearest one if you like. One right?
Yeah.
Hey, one's better than none.
It's a start. Small baby steps.
I got 7.
All right, Rach, work with me here. Let's do this quickly. What'd you get? P times what is p squared? P times what is p squared? What do you multiply p by to get p squared? P. So you put a p up here. So then I multiply Rach. P times p is p squared. P times negative 10 is negative 10p. That's my whole divide. That was my multiply. Now I have to subtract. So I change these to their opposites. This goes away. Negative 13 plus 10 is negative 3p. And then I bring down. It's normal division all the way around. Then the whole thing starts all over again. I go to the dividing. What times p gives me negative 3p? What am I missing? The negative 3. Then I multiply. Negative 3 times p is negative 3p. Negative 3 times negative 10 is positive 30. Then I subtract. I change their signs. This becomes a negative 1, and that's my remainder, negative 1 over p minus 10. How would I be able to share my screen? Could I share my screen on that one? Oh, no, I can do that as well. All right, take out your thy confusers. Go to Desmos, please, because that's where your scientific calculator is going to be. We did Desmos. It should be booked.
Oh no! Biggest on Luis. It's just that, like going.
I think they let you use calculators all the time.
What they call the graphic calculator?
Join that.
What?
Is it a pear deck?
There,
Can we go back to the pair thing?
if not, you can just type Desmos and I think it'll pop up. Desmos. And then I believe it has a thing that says, I believe it says calculator. So take a look. See, this is what you should have looking right here. Wait, I am gonna share my screen. Make sure I'm doing this right.
Graphing calculator?
Yo.
Oh, wait.
Graphing, we put graphing calculator, but join as.
This is what you should have. Click on that graphing calculator thing and you should get this thing here. Alright. Now, the only reason, Max, I'm doing this today for you today is because people think because you can use a calculator that all of their world's problems are solved. And I have to tell you that is not always the case. In other words, ladies and gentlemen, here, let me give you this piece of paper. It will make your life easier, but I have found that, children, if you don't know how to use the calculator to make your life easier, it actually confuses your life. A little like all those buttons and knobs they put in cars today that nobody can figure out what they actually do. You got this big screen with like 8,000 buttons and well, maybe you can just do the squid launcher and the ink shooter and the whatever thing there. So this will just be kind of fun sort of day to see if you can get the answers that you need to get. I'm pretty sure next year you'll have to purchase yourself a scientific calculator. I'm not so sure they let you use Desmos or something like that. If you need to write on this thing here. I am going to. Oh. On this sheet, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, let me give you the basics of this Desmos thing. In order to use the calculator thing, you need to push this button down here that gives you the actual keyboard there. Okay. Looking at both of these at the same time, if you look at this sheet that I just gave you, number one says, how do you do 6 squared? Well, that's pretty simple. 6 and the little a with the squared on it is boom. And 6 squared gives you that 36. That would be 6 times 6. Now, obviously, when you get to high school, did I ever tell you the story that my daughter took whatever classes?
There's no calculators.
What?
You can't do a calculator. There is no calculator.
Addie has a calculator button.
How much?
Max has a calculator button.
Yeah, we all do.
Yeah,
There's
so
no calculator.
everyone's
I don't have any. You're probably starting all over again. How can you not have, how can everybody else have one? Maybe it's because you got all those things open. I thought you said you didn't have a calculator. Oh, for some reason your screen too?
Yeah, I already tried control minus. Deep check or something. Oh no, like just press minus.
When I have 0, I
Yeah.
I don't want to tell you. Maybe you ask Mrs. Glenn here, you could ask her and see if she could. I don't know. I have 0 idea. See, this is why technology just doesn't go there. Otherwise, maybe just listen, Brooklyn.
That's why you purchase your own scientific calculator.
Well, here, wait, Brooklyn. Let me see if this. Maybe they'll use mine just because. See if Desmos comes up on this. You know, we never had this problem with this. Let's learn together. Learning is fun. Oh, yeah, here you go. Oh. Here is the problem with graphing calculators. They're only as smart as you are smart, and some of you aren't, so. Wait, let me just give you the gist here. If you wanted to do 6 to the 4th power, see, there's no thing that has a 4 up here. That's what this a to the b power is. So if you were doing 6 to the 4th power, you would hit the 6 and then that AB button, and then you can enter whatever exponent of 6 you want to make it. If you want to do 4, it would be there, and that's 1,496. So that's an easy one. What I do want to do, skip right down to problem number 7. You go ahead and do problem number 7 for me, will you? Do problem 7 and problem 8 using a calculator. All you have to do is type in the numbers. I just want to see if you get the right answers. 7 and 8. 7 and 8. I'm a little more concerned about 8 than I am 7. But let's, tell me when you got 7. Oh, you seem to be a little slow. What's wrong with us? Slash division, sir. Hit the dividing button. There we go. Wait, that number 7?
Let's try. I know number 8. It's negative 43.
And number 7.
I also know 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
And, you guys are so smart. And
I think I figured it out. I figured it out.
Colin, we got time job yet?
Also, it's on the page.
Now, this is, where'd it go?
Whoa, answers.
Yeah, obviously, since the answers are given to you, I'm not that concerned that you know what the answers are as to how to get them. But this is the point of discussion here, ladies and gentlemen. These, take a look up here, ladies and gents. Take a look up here just so you understand this. Okay, this one, if you type it in just the way it's written, you do get the negative 89 that you're supposed to. But this one here, you might be inclined to type it all in the way it is and then put the dividing by 2, which will still give you the same answer, but it is not. Because a calculator is only as smart as the person who uses it, you have to understand that order of operations still have to be followed. Okay, and when you look at this problem, this fraction line is a grouping symbol. You have to do this, oh boy. You have to do this all first before you do the dividing by 2. So if you're putting it in a calculator and asking it to figure it out, you have to tell the calculator to do this first before you do the dividing by 2. So when you type this in, you need to use that parenthesis, type this whole stuff in, closing parenthesis, and then put the divided by 2. Otherwise, it's not. A calculator will follow the order of operations as you type into it, and it doesn't understand that this is the way the problem looks. You type this in the way it is there, it looks just like this, and you'll get the same answer. But the answer to this one should be 43. So type it in so you get 43. Did you get 43?
Yes.
Okay. So again, the calculator can't think for you. It can only do what you tell it to do. So you have to just be very, 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 very careful on that. Now, where else are we here? I've done that. I mean, that's not. I don't think you necessarily need to do the divide thing. I got the second page that I want you to more do. Is there a backside to this? Yes. Yes, 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 yes.
Wait, there's no answer.
I want you to do, let's see how you do with problems. Go ahead and do the backside up to problem number 20. And again, they give you the right answer. So if you can't figure out why you're not getting the right answer, that's what we need to talk about. Mostly, I'm more concerned about this one down here. You do it, compare your answer with what the answers they give you. If you don't get it, we've got something to talk about. Do all of them, yeah, 14 through 20. It shouldn't take you very long. Then we'll do the graphing part of this.
No, it's 7th grade.
Where does it say the answer to it?
Right there on the bottom of the sheet, on the sheet it says, right here. Same place on here, right here. Answers you should get. Number 14 is 8, 15 is 20, 16 is this. Don't worry about whatever comes after that on your paper. We don't need to talk about that.
Mr. On in high school, did you take calc in your DC?
1, 2, and 3 at college.
I graduated at work.
Is it the most difficult math class there is?
What is the most difficult math class? Alright, so I wanna accomplish it. It's like, yeah, 4 cases a day.
They don't get hard till you get down to 18.
Yeah, I don't think it's
I just
it's
can't.
annoying hard.
That's true.
I mean, how's the possibility?
The slash is the same as the division sign, ladies and gentlemen. Whoa. Wait, how many of you are there?
24, 3, 2. Is Sammy not here yet?
Whoa.
I didn't get the ... after 16.
You don't get that.
You're supposed to be talking.
Weird number for.
You're supposed to, Tyler. If you look at the answer, it's a lot of them.
There's answers at the bottom.
Under 18.
The answer's already there for you. You're just supposed to try to figure out.
Under like 18, 19 to 20 is also. You just gotta picture it.
More than that. It's okay.
It just means et cetera.
Calm down. You're trying to reach you about your car's extended warranty. Mr. Hahn, when you're doing number 17, where do you put the parentheses?
What's that?
Yeah, how do you do number 17?
Yeah.
Whoa.
You would have to put a profile. I don't know if you'd have to, but you probably should put a parenthesis around the square root. And then you put the division sign, and then you put parentheses.
No, you just put division, you put the division sign and then you put the square root sign. You just put the square root.
Oh,
That's what I
finally.
did.
Sure, if it works. I'm just saying, but when, in order of operations, you have to simplify the top, you have to simplify the bottom, and then divide by the bottom. So then you'd have to tell it to do this as one big thing. You can't tell it to do this and then that and then that. Very interesting.
I got a line finally.
You can get a line. You just get a line. Smart people get a line back. Where?
You got talk 18, Conrad?
What?
You got to talk 18?
I typed it in.
Yeah.
Doesn't give me. Yeah. Oh, give me a line. Crazy line.
You shouldn't get lines, you get numbers. You should be worried about the numbers, not the line. You shouldn't be putting X's in there, by the way. You're supposed to substitute the numbers that X are in for it. They give you what X and Y and Z are. You need to put those numbers in there and figure out what the answers are.
That makes a lot
You're
of
not
sense.
supposed to type the letters in there.
Yeah, guys, you should have said. Oh, I have.
Just look at the paper, guys, like, jeez.
Yeah, how about directions, follow them?
There, I have a line.
Mr. Hahn, are we supposed to put, parentheses around, like, the numbers?
If you have to. That's the part of the calculator. It does not do all the thinking for you.
You can delete the parentheses afterwards. But why would you do that, Jay?
Yeah.
I don't know.
We might have to continue this. Let me find, where's my, snipping tool. Conrad, did you come up with it?
Almost there.
I think so.
My thoughts are if you can do this in your head, you certainly should be able to do this.
I can use
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Everybody.
I mean,
Big brains.
oh boy.
Number 19.
19 is so
What's that?
And then he goes to the bottom.
Now, let me ask a question. Does anybody want me to do number 18 firm?
No, I got it.
I got it.
I got 19.
You get 18.
Speak now or forever hold your peace.
Watch it.
Did you put parentheses around it?
That's crazy.
Why is it?
Oh, I see.
Matt, did you get problem number 18?
No.
Huh?
Oh, 19. 19.
I was getting it.
Raise your hand if you got problem 18.
Oh, I got
All right.
Wow, man.
Here's what you gotta think.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Didn't see what?
I didn't.
Do we get 19?
19 is not. Look at the 90.
You didn't get 19?
I have a question. I typed it in right.
I don't know.
Make sure to add parentheses around the numbers.
I do.
Why do you
Okay,
have
I got that.
Which one? 4? 19. You have to see that y is negative, that has to be parentheses. Otherwise, because it's supposed to run against positive, you have to gotta be parentheses negative. This is why calculators are not. 19, everybody's got? Colton, what? Which one?
20.
Huh? You didn't get 20?
There.
So you want, Colton, you want me to do 20?
I got it, never mind.
We've got begun to fight.
Jordan.
Close mark, no.
Like 20 bucks. Wait, I put negative on the top.
Double parentheses are your friends. Now when I give the calculator take a look at this sheet here, ladies and gentlemen.
How did you get this? I got negative 1.
Everybody get one? All right. If you want, if you could clear whatever you have up there, delete all, please, for me. Hit this little arrow that says delete all. This is graphing. This is how to graph lines. I know some of you were goofing around with it. Okay. But this would be the way that you go. You need to type your linear or quadratic equation up there. I don't think you have to put, you could put y equals, I guess. But I think it'll do it even if you don't. I'm going to do it. Y equals, problem number 1 on this sheet, that is where you do just put x squared. Notice how there's the x squared already graphed for you, but that's not the whole thing. You have to then put minus 6x x. Notice how the graph keeps changing the more numbers I add, plus 5. So you should get that little thing there. Stop, once you get it, stop, so we can talk about it for a little while. Because you've got to do more than just graph it. Because when you go to high school, they'll ask you some things. First of all, what things, when we graph these quadratic things, what things did we look for? You looked for the axis of symmetry, you looked for the max and the min, and you look for the y-intercept, and you should also look for what they call the zeros of it, which is where it crosses the x-axis. So if you're given this equation and somebody asks you to give all those things, how do you easily find them? Well, if you just put, this is the min right here, if you put your little thing on the min there, it will tell you exactly what that point is. So if they ask you for the min, you put it's 3, -4, correct? The y-intercept right here crosses the y-axis at 0, 5. What is the axis of symmetry, ladies and gentlemen? You should be able to tell me that right now. Frankie?
3.
-3. Or that is 3, I'm sorry. 3. What are the zeros? Boom. 5, 0, and 1, 0. How about that? Now stop for just a minute. Take a deep breath. Ready for one small learning moment of the day, Conrad? If you took this, x squared minus 6x plus 5, x squared minus 6x plus 5, and I asked you to factor that into 2 binomials.
I would say y.
No, I want the x's. You would get what? X and x. What times what gives you 5 when added together gives you -6? Or 2 times 3 gives you 5 when you multiply them together?
-1,
Both would be, wait, -1 and -6, right?
Mm-hmm.
I believe it's -1 and -5. But that's okay.
Yeah.
All right, now, stop. Take a deep breath. What number do you see here? 1 and 5. What number do you see here? 1. Now, the only thing is, these will always be the opposites. Remember we said one was -1, one was -5? The zeros will always be the opposites of those. We're not going to get to y this time. All right, graph the second one, which means you want to clear this, and you don't want that graph in there, so I hit that little roundy thing and delete all. Give me the second one. Graph for me number 2, -2x squared minus 8x minus 9. By the way, you could sketch that graph on your paper. As Marilyn has done. And then a nice straight line. You should buy your own French curve, by the way.
The negative squish.
What is that second one? -2x squared. X squared. Wow, look at that. Minus 8x minus 9. Anybody know what the y-intercept on that is? I think you can zoom out, can't you?
No, it's 0, -.
Negative what?
0, -9.
What would be the answers to that? I don't think there is one. Not the answers. And I will just set you free with that. You can just graph me all of these, all 10, all 12 of these. Using your little graphing calculator. I'm gonna guess 10 minutes will be plenty of time.
Well, how was yours?
Roll up at this time.
You do it.
Again, if you don't enter the numbers in correctly, then you won't.
I'm trying to know where it's at.
You can't quite be right there. Let me know if you need any help on that, but I think you would probably. It's not as much fun to do it with a calculator as it is by hand, but
Yeah.
funner is not a word.
Derek, come on.
Jacob, this is where you're failing English.
Hey, see what I got the same grade last time.
Not a good thing.
63.